Welcome to the channel, Necro Nicki.
Thanks for having me. Hello.
Today, everyone, this video is going to be about ASMR friends hanging out with their crystal collections. So what we want to start off with is selenites. What I have here are selenite rods. These can be placed in a variety of configurations based on what you would like to manifest. You can place them in triangles to guide energy into a point and then towards you, or you can place them in squares and have energy directed into an object. Now, if you want energy directed to an object, you might have to place your hand above them, and then you draw the energy from the earth or yourself into that object. And if you're trying to direct it based on triangles, that's more of a configuration where you basically want it to increase its energetic pattern as it goes through the various triangles. This right here is it's a spiral pyramid of selenites. This can be used to either put behind a certain thing you want the energy to be drawn into, or it can be placed at the center, and you can allow the energy to collect in a certain space. You can also place this upon yourself and allow the energy to come into you from various angles. Um,
Oh, so the shapes there, can you notice a different frequency with the various shapes? Because I notice you have different selenite crystals. So how do you use those?
So the shape is usually this is a very big energy drawing spiral. It brings in the energy, it collects it, and if you place something in front of it from where the candles are, the energy is, then it can draw it into an item just by going into the item because it's attracted to this spiral. When it comes to a pyramid is also good for being a central, localized piece of crystal. This is once again selenite, and it allows a collection of energy, or you can turn it diagonally, and it can be an energy transfer in various directions based on where you place the selenite rods.
I see. So is that a profound crystal that you use a lot with your rituals and your magic?
Yes,
Selenite?
yes,
And what do you notice when you use them with your rituals?
yes. Selenite is actually very cheap, but also very effective. I've used things like quartz before, and quartz is not. It's not different than selenite in the sense that it has different energy as much. It just has. It's more expensive for the same bang for your buck. So that's why you tend to use selenite, and you can use long rods of selenite, or you can use short rods of selenite to break them into pieces and direct energy based on that.
Yeah, this crystal ball that I have, it's one of my favorites. I've noticed sometimes quartz can be really expensive, but then sometimes it's not so much, which is interesting because it's one of the most popular minerals, well-known minerals of the earth. So it's kind of funny how it can be expensive, but I also think it's just where you get it too, because at gem fairs I've gotten pretty good deals, and I like how crystal quartz really amplifies energy and is really shape shifty. I kind of find that with it being clear and good for scrying too.
I think a lot of people they have quartz in this shape will have the same feeling as if it was selenite. So really, it's just you relying upon what you yourself are able to obtain. But this selenite looks very much like quartz and performs the same function. So whatever you find that is either similar or just has the same energy properties, use that. So when it comes to, before I go on to a further crystal, I will say that most of the time when I'm using selenites or other crystals to create an energy current to manifest a certain desire or a certain spell, I will put 7-day candles, which you can buy for about $1 at grocery stores. I will put them in two different places as the main energy sources, or I'll place a bunch of tea light candles, which are very cheap at grocery stores as well. And you can place them along the grid to actually perpetuate and create the energy because the flame, the heat, the warmth, everything that a candle is, it allows the energy to be created, and then the crystals allow it to be transferred to various places and into you or into an object, depending on what you desire.
Lovely. On my YouTube channel, Necro Nicki, I did a crystal energy grid. I called it the infernal crystal energy grid. And I find them really useful. And as we've mentioned with various different crystal types and shapes, that you can also make with the grid itself, because you can make the grid into a star with a certain number of points, or even make the mandala of a heart shape. So it's like you can create shapes with your crystal collection.
Definitely. That makes sense. So usually when you're using generators, it's usually in different directions, but for this one, it's side to side and up and down the directions. You can turn it diagonally, but usually you want to keep it up and down and side to side. At the center of this one is a quartz pyramid, and then we have silver connecting it to the purple agate around the central form. So if you place this at the center of a crystal configuration, and you either have candles in that configuration or you don't, it allows it to be amplified. But you definitely want to have this at a central location. Otherwise, it cannot perform its absolute use when it comes to enhancing and transferring energy. That's why this is called a generator.
So obviously you have an attraction to selenite. Is there another type of crystal lately, a newer one that has caught your eye that you've seen out and about or in other crystal videos?
Obsidian has always attracted me. It's a dark crystal. It is something that looks very threatening, but actually is a form of protection. It's a form of filtering negativity in the sense that it blocks it, but also it's a form of protection, so that when you're carrying that, your energy is, the negative parts of other people's energy can be blocked by obsidian. And also it can be used in connecting to your root chakra, like in this orgonite pyramid. So this orgonite pyramid right here, it is based on the connection and purification of the root chakra. And what you do is you basically place this closest to you in a crystal configuration, and you focus on this orgonite pyramid. And it has obsidian in it. And when you focus on this pyramid, and you allow all the energy of the configuration to come into this pyramid, then into you, maybe by placing a selenite stick very close to you in front of the pyramid, then it allows you to become more at ease and grounded. But also, your root chakra will receive a form of crystal medication, to where anything that was negative in your root chakra will be partially cleansed.
I like the gold colors. Pretty gold flakes.
Yes, it's definitely a good transference of energy. So when it comes to your crystals, what are a couple of your favorite out of the crystals that you have, and why are they your favorite?
Okay, I grabbed a handful over here. Since you mentioned grounding, this is actually a moss agate. And a lot of the times I listen to each crystal. For me, one moss agate might have a different message for me than another one. So this one in particular, just with the colors and everything, I see the brown, which symbolizes roots going into the ground, and there's parts of it that are peachy and warmth. But when I want to ground from here to other dimensions, this is really good. Sometimes when I'm just in that mode of being extra spiritual and just, this is what I use to help ground myself. I also have some green calcite, and this one I've been keeping on my own personal altar to myself. It's great for manifestation. That's what I've gotten from it so far. It helps amplify it when you have a particular desire that you have with a ritual that you're doing. There's fluorite, and it's just a very soothing, cool toned stone. So if you're in a position where you feel as though you need to relax a little bit more. It might be a stressful type of situation or conversation you're going to have, or even an activity, reading maybe, if one has an issue of quieting the mind so they can focus on what they're reading and comprehending. I recommend this one. And also I have rhodonite, which is an excellent balancing stone of polarity. The pink to me signifies love, and then just the darkness and contrast of the black, it's the polarity of love, how someone can go from love to hate, when a couple is just so in love with each other and then they break up and turns into some crazy mess. I feel as though this is a good stone to use to prevent that. Say you're in a relationship and you care about someone and it's time to move on from it. I say grow from it and act maturely and say, hey, we might not be talking anymore, but let's end this, what we had, and just be civil friends. So I feel like this is a good stone for working with different situations of polarities. Then I have some more, but yeah, that's a couple of them.
So when it comes to crystals, what is maybe your favorite, or what are some of your favorite to use in a graveyard? Or do you use crystals in the graveyard when you work there?
I have a cube over here that I've used in one of my YouTube videos, and I actually believe the hexagon is made out of, it is actually made out of obsidian. It was Azazel's cube. So and it's in resin too, with gold flakes. And I charged that with death essence, and it was really powerful. I would say that cube is so life-changing. I'm going through some anyone who knows me on social media is seeing my journey the past month. I've been going through some serious transformations where I'm just bettering myself as a person and getting more focused. So with the black obsidian, I'm using it and connecting with Saturnian energy and getting really strict on myself on where I need to go and what I need to be. So that's one that that's the only one that I've used so far. I've used quartz too, and when I have with ghosts that I was working for, I just gave small pieces of quartz as an offering to those ghosts that I was planning on working with. I want to explore more with that. Here's a crystal I have right here on my altar, and this is actually in obsidian, another obsidian, skull. I haven't taken this one to the graveyard. I'm not sure if I will, but I have just used it with a lot of death energy, because death energy is just a major part of my practice in general.
Have you ever thought of using a crystal mirror for a different purpose, or perhaps the same purpose? Have you ever thought about using a crystal mirror, or have you ever used one?
I haven't used well, I would say, I guess I was kind of trying to think when you said crystal mirror, what a crystal mirror is, but I guess it would be just a shiny slab of some crystal that you could scry in. For me, crystal balls are like mirrors, because I see mirrors as portals and screens of where you could see different scenes and look into them, and even see yourself. Because with crystal balls, not this crystal ball in particular, it's kind of complicated, but someone was using a crystal ball to spy on me, and they were looking at me through the crystal ball, and I was able to see that me inside the crystal ball that they were looking at, looking back at them. Lucifer flashed this to me, and then he reversed it to where I was looking through their eyes and seeing myself in the crystal ball. It just had a mirror, that whole situation just had a mirror type of feel, something similar to what I've done with mirror magic. And what's funny is today I actually made my first black mirror. I've used, there's this spiderweb I have that is on some black, I think glass or resin. that I've tried to scry with, but the spiderweb was just too much in the way for me to focus on using it like a black mirror. So today I actually made my own big black mirror. So I'm excited to use that for the first time.
Excellent. That's really great to hear your perspective and what you've used. So one of the things that I've used in the past and continue to use is an obsidian mirror that is round. It's more like it's a flat, round mirror that I can look at myself through. And a lot of the time I'll place it in the graveyard and I'll place it towards me and I will see if my visage changes, if my face changes, my body changes, and what are the qualities of that. Then I record that to know the spirit trying to communicate through me in my own image, the message or its manifestation that it is, regardless of me being there. Basically, it helps me to see them without trying to alter them. So I've used an obsidian mirror like that. So in conclusion, what would you recommend starting off with when it comes to crystals for people who have just kind of started out using crystals? Is there some kind of advice or certain crystals you would recommend? What? Give us that.
Yeah, I've been collecting crystals for a very long time. Actually, crystals were the first collection that I ever had. So I was obsessed when I was younger. And as I've grown with my crystals, I say, as I do with every type of spirituality, is use your intuition. So I would say don't even go by what, I mean, you can, but I recommend getting your own meaning from each crystal. So for example, the amethyst is common for helping people stay sober. It's just part of the history and what the Greeks supposedly associated with the stone, and some use it a lot for psychic abilities. But when I look at this amethyst, I see something completely different. First of all, you look at the crystal, I see a bunch of rainbow inclusions. So to me, it's working with high vibrational rainbow energy. And it's just an example of, don't get so caught up in what other people are saying about each crystal, but listen to it and channel it as if you're talking to one of your guides or a deity, and just see what it says. And when I've done that, compared to using what a book or someone has recommended, it's been more powerful. I could compare it to a ritual. If you create your own ritual and your own ritual tools, it helps magnify the energy as opposed to just reading someone else's ritual in a book. And just go by what you gravitate towards to at the time.
I can definitely second that. So I would recommend to just experiment as best you can. Anybody out there who's listening and watching, experiment, experiment, experiment. And don't be afraid to keep on failing, because you will fail at the beginning, but you will find something that clicks with you. At any rate, thank you very much, Necro Nicki, for joining me on this video.
Thank you. And I'm glad that we did some ASMR. Also, I just want to give a special shout out to all those who've messaged Hunter on our collaboration videos that we've done and just said what's up and how excited they were to have both of us work together.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All of you out there, have a wonderful day.